Hello beautiful people and welcome to this episode of Two Girls One Doc. It's your girl BD and we did not get a chance to record this week, so today is a rerun. It's a documentary that I really enjoyed watching and I think that the fact that friends didn't enjoy watching it makes this an amazing episode. Some of you may have listened to this a long time ago when it came out. Some of you guys are new and you haven't made your way down to episode 42, so enjoy and leave a comment if you have anything you want to say about it. Some housekeeping before we get into the episode. This is actually going to be our last episode of the year. We're going to take the rest of the month just to reset, recover from the year, all that stuff, and we'll be back in the new year. Thank you to everyone who has supported us, streamed us, shared us, commented. We really appreciate it, and we hope to be even better in the new year. But yeah, enough of all that. Here is Made You Look, the true story about fake art. Hello beautiful people and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl BD.
It's your girl Foreign's the fiance.
And we are back with another documentary, of course, as is the nature of the podcast. Are you drinking today? No, you're not, are you? No. Was it Costco water, Highland Springs, or was it?
No, it's Kirkland. That's what it's called.
That's it, Kirkland. How could I forget? Kirkland. I've got Highland Springs.
Yeah, Kirkland spring water. Only God knows if it's really from spring, but yeah.
Do you know there's that episode of there's a Netflix series, I don't remember what it's called, but they have different episodes about basically things being a scam, and bottled water is a scam.
Why?
Because it's not really from anywhere specific. It's not like a big deal. I'll find the episode. I'll find the episode and I'll send it to you.
I can taste the difference between each water.
Yeah, okay, water connoisseur. But what's it? Yeah, so I am drinking. I wasn't actually going to drink today. I have a bottle of water next to me, but I am drinking a cheeky red because of the nature of the documentary. I just feel like art and wine go together. So I felt like right? So I just felt like I'd be doing you guys a disservice if I didn't drink this episode. So the documentary that we are doing today is called Made You Look, a true story about fake art. I kind of wish it was called a real story about fake art or a true story about false art, but that doesn't really make sense. It's the false bit, so it kind of rubbed me a bit, but it was fine. It's a Netflix documentary. We know how Florence feels about Netflix documentary. So what were your overall opinions on the documentary?
I didn't enjoy it.
Did you not?
Maybe it's because I'm not into art.
It's because no one died.
So I kept zoning out and having to bring myself back to the documentary. It wasn't, I think it's because I have no interest in art. I think you need to be interested in art.
Do you think? I'm not really interested in art, but I'm interested in fraud and crimes.
But there wasn't enough of the conversation around it. There was a lot of discussion about the art.
Because that was the object of the crime, right?
Hence why I'm if you don't really if you're not interested in art, because a lot of it went. We'll talk about it, but yeah, I just feel like you have to at least have some sort of interest in art to be ooh.
Yeah, I would agree, but I actually have no interest in art, so anyway. Let's get into it. So, the documentary basically, long story short, is about selling fake art, right? It's a con, right? And I feel like the crime here isn't even the fraud, but the prices that people were paying for the art. I think that is the real crime here.
And there's also another crime is just that people think they're so uppity and in this upper echelon and
they high have members of society
and enlightenment, but it's no, you fucking don't.
It's a square. It's a blue square on a white background.
You're just as dumb as the rest of us, and you actually don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Thank you. I was looking forward to discussing this with you because I knew there's certain people that came up that I'm I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But we'll get there. So, as Netflix normally does, there's a beautiful opening shot. This one is of New York City. And I know we complain about Netflix documentaries being really, really long, but the production quality is chef's kiss, especially compared to what we watched last week. It was
long, but it was still unnecessarily long. But yeah,
but that's Netflix, man. I've come to know it for that.
They need to hear us complain.
They do, but then also they need to work with us so we can make them better. So we meet our first talking head, whose name is M.H. Miller. He works for the New York Times. I feel like everyone works for the New York Times, but
yeah.
So he's telling us that this whole case started with the closing of the Knoedler Gallery. This is a big deal because the Knoedler Gallery, for people who care, is like a famous art gallery in New York. No one knows why it's closing, but then we get leaks of this like forgery scandal.
$80 million scandal that has the art world up in arms tonight and collectors checking their most prized possessions.
This is probably the largest art fraud that has ever been discovered in the history of the United States.
So the male voice that you hear at the end of that clip is basically our next talking head. His name is Perry Anselm and he's a lawyer. So the fact that you have lawyers in the documentary at this point is like, all right, cool. So definitely a crime was committed, because why else would lawyers be like taking time out of their busy schedules to talk to us, you know?
Yeah.
And so he's kind of setting the scene. He's letting us know how big a deal this case was. And I'm glad he did that, because in my head it was like, okay, you sold a fake painting. What's the big deal? Do you know what I mean? So he's like, no, listen to this. This is a big deal. And they were selling these forgeries for like over decades. Like it was at least 10 years that they were selling these fakes, which is wild.
No, it was longer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like
20
years.
Something.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, 20 years, yeah, mad. So we have this whole section of different people saying how prestigious this gallery was, right? Survived the First World War, the Second World War. They sold painting to the Louvre, which is that pyramid thing in France. So basically, it's basically just trying to set the scene and say this thing is amazing. And the director of the gallery at this time is this lady called Anne Friedman. What are your thoughts on Anne Friedman? Just like initial first impressions.
She's got a lot of head. She's got a thick head of hair.
She has a lot of hair.
I can't, it's difficult for me to say my thoughts because I have to say my thoughts in the...
Okay, that's fair. We'll get into her then.
Yeah.
Let's put a pin. We'll put a pin in Anne, because now we learn about this lady called Glafira Rosales, and she's like at the center of this scam.
And you know what? I like Glafira. I'm gonna say
Same.
I like Glafira.
And I feel bad for Glafira, to be honest, because they did her dirty.
Yeah.
She was just trying to make a quick buck. Yeah, same. I'm glad we agree. So she's a middle-aged woman from New York. One day she turns up to the Knoedler Gallery with a boot full of art, claiming that it's Jackson Pollock's. And everyone's like, okay, Jan, of course you just, in your boot just happen to have Jackson Pollock's. And so through this documentary, we have little not time cards, like title cards that kind of show what's going on. It kind of breaks it up a bit. So the first one is called The Con Begins, right? So it's New York, 1995. We meet Anne Knoedler. No, her name is Anne Friedman. Wow, that's how you know I was tired. We meet Anne Friedman, and she's the gallery director at the time this fraud is committed. She's telling us that she was introduced to Glafira. I kept wanting to call her Gloria.
I kept wanting to call her Glafira.
Yeah. Glafira Rosales, so she gets introduced to her, and she's well dressed, she's soft spoken, and Anna's basically trying to say, like, you know, this is why she was trustworthy.
There was no reason to trust Glafira Rosales. Nobody knew who this person was. She didn't have a great pedigree. She was just some lady from Long Island who came to the gallery one day.
And M.H. Miller is kind of like, some random woman comes to your gallery one time, right? And you just believe that she has all these great works of art from back in the day. Like, why would you believe that? But anyway,
yeah, but then he also says that she had no pedigree. And it's like, who the fuck are you? Like, who actually the fuck are you? But this is what I mean about this whole art world. You're just pretentious pricks.
Yeah.
Like, I know the exact type, like, these men are. Like, who are you to say no, somebody had no pedigree? So she could have not come from money and then built herself up in the art world. Like, what the hell? She could have had a sugar daddy that introduced her to the art. Like, what the hot hell are
and
you
you're
talking
the same
about?
people that are like, oh, you know, to be rich you have to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and work hard. Okay, cool, someone has done that, but because she doesn't have the pedigree, now it's a problem.
Exactly, with your shit brown cardigan. He can
I literally have a note here saying I don't get the art thing. I don't get it now, nor will I ever understand it. I don't get it. Do you know what I mean? I just don't understand it. But Anne asked about the origins of the art, right? And so Glafira is kind of saying, yes, she has a client who owns these paintings, but she has to maintain confidentiality.
She made it very clear that she had a confidentiality. The owner's name was not to be revealed.
Little by little, other details came out of a sort of backstory. Mr. X, so went the first story. It got modified later, but story one centered on this Mr. X.
Very well-to-do family. They came over from Europe. They went to Mexico, not unusual after the wartime.
He and his wife had come to New York. They had bought paintings through a guy named Alfonso Osorio.
Alfonso Osorio lived in Long Island. He was maybe a patron, if you will, of Jackson Pollock.
Jackson Pollock is apparently a really famous artist. I learned this from the documentary. He's what is it called? Expressionist. Abstract expressionist. That's it. This is how you know that this ain't my
guys. But can I just
rodeo.
say, like, these paintings that are selling for like shit tons,
millions.
I'm not trying to be funny, but they look like the kind of stuff your kid paints you and brings back from like school. It really made me feel like I should just start painting and like
even Rachel Dolezal paints.
Yeah, how do I paint and just get people to pay as shit? Because
this is what you have to do. You have to paint, and then you have to dye, and then it will be worth a lot of money. So it wouldn't be something that you benefit from right now.
But do you think that these artists that like paint and shit like that, like it's kind of like Shakespeare, like everyone says, oh, like he's a literary genius, but he could have just been a horny old man wanting to write about like two teens like in the throes of passion, and everyone thinks he's a genius.
Yeah,
like
probably.
I don't know if these artists like really were like, oh, like this blue square and this green square represents the blah blah blah. Do you think they were just like, oh, I'm just gonna paint some shit? Like I really feel like a lot of them were like, I'm just gonna paint some shit. Like
I feel like they were like, I'm just gonna paint some shit, and they were on drugs, and they were like, cool, here we go, because a lot of these were like. Obviously, art is subjective, innit? Like what you like. But a lot of it was like very simple. Like literally, there was one and it was like a square, a blue square and a yellow square and like a white line in between, kind of faded, blended in. And I was literally, just like, I'm not like this is what I'm saying. I'm not mad that this happened. I'm not mad that anyone. And also, I say this later on, but it's come to mind just now. Like when rich people are defrauded or conned, like my sympathy is capped at like 20%. Like I cannot feel that bad for you. I just can't.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I get it. You worked for your money. No one should steal, blah, blah, blah. I know what it means in principle, but in theory, I am so sorry. If you're going to spend 8 million, 10 million on a painting, then I'm not going to come and cry for you.
I'm not crying for you, Argentina. Honestly, I'm really not. So yeah, Mr. X, who is the supposed owner of these paintings, gives these paintings to his son, Mr. X Jr. Now, Mr. X Jr. doesn't care about money, so he's selling these paintings at cheap prices. So that's how Glafira explains how she has the paintings, right? So that's the first iteration of the story. It changes later on, but that's where we're at. Anne believes the story. Cool. So we're at this auction now.
Started bidding at 33, 34, $35 million, and then $36 million split. 36 already with Stefan at 36. 48 with Charlie now at 48.
And it's like, hey, better, hey, 10 million, hey, better. Not one of them ones. So, but he's saying things like 30, 34 million, 35 million, 36 million, $48 million is what this painting sells like. And so currently, I do not have, nor have I ever seen this many millions. Well, any millions, to be honest.
Millions, yeah.
And it's like, when you have this much money, is it that you have it in your bank account like it's liquid and you're just like, oh yeah, I just bought a painting for 48 million. Let me just go to NatWest and transfer $48 million. Or is it that you have it in things and you have to sell things? Like how, because I cannot bring my mind to fathom how you buy something that's $48 million, yeah? Like how does one get the money for that? Do you pay monthly? Like how does it work?
Okay, first of all, people who have $48 million do not shop at, bank at NatWest. So I've actually learned there's like this exclusive like bank that people who have money bank at, and like they don't even handle their banking. Like I remember watching, I don't know, I can't remember the name of the bank, but like it's not, they can't bank in normal banks basically.
It's true.
Because of the money transactions are too much. So they bank at these exclusive
the server
banks.
can't handle it.
Literally, and then like they don't handle their banking themselves. So like Oprah was saying, like she like never carries credit cards, she never does this, she never does that. But she just to feel normal again, she went to pay in a check one day. Okay, but yeah.
How does she do grocery shopping then?
I don't know. Like you have people like your PA will hold your money in it. Like you're not gonna like be holding like your.
But I guess this is why celebrities get robbed, because like they don't know what's in them. Like for me, every morning I'll look at my bank account. If I see anything that looks a bit dodgy, which has happened bare times. You know when people set up direct debits in your name. So it's like you notice those things, but I guess when you have that much money, like you don't notice
trust somebody.
You have to trust someone to and if they rob you,
that's how they get robbed. So That's how Rihanna's
Yeah,
bank or
that's what I
whatever
was
was
thinking,
stealing
yeah.
from her. So with these things, like I guess, like say for example, you're worth 100 million, you wouldn't go and spend 40 million on a painting, kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
something
true.
you pay, and then you know you have it as an asset, and then you pay it off and things like
So,
that. You
so
don't
this
go
is
and
the thing. If you can spend 48 million on a painting, I always think of it like this. Like right now, I can go to Nando's and I can spend £20 and it's calm. And I'm not thinking about that £20. So if you can spend $48 million on a painting, how much money do you have?
yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's crazy that's the thing. Money means nothing. Like there's money. Like didn't I see this morning that Jack, that started Twitter, like his first tweet sold for like how many million? And it's just like money means nothing. What do you mean you sold a tweet? I've been
How can you
tweeting
sell a
shit for
tweet?
free, bro. I don't know. He sold his tweet got sold.
How? So who? How? It?
I
How?
don't know what it means. I don't understand the significance of it. I don't know
Nobody
why.
knows what it means. It's provocative.
Literally, money means nothing. It's just like flimsy.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. Next, we learn about this thing called provenance.
Provenance. Well, the simple definition of provenance is the history of ownership. It is ideally where you can trace the work from the current owner all the way back to the artist's studio.
And so because these paintings that Anne got from Glafira are fake, we know this because of the documentary, but obviously at the time Anne is claiming that she didn't know that these things were fake. So she is under the impression that she was selling real paintings, right? The story that Glafira gives now is that Mr. X's sister has the provenance, which is basically proving that, you know, like the chain of command, like chain of events, like where did this painting come from?
Yeah, it's from the previous owner to the artist's studio. How did it get there?
Exactly. So Glafira is claiming that Mr. X's sister has the provenance, or it may have been destroyed. And Anne's lawyer is kind of like, yeah, okay, cool. You guys think that, you know, the provenance is so important, but like records can be fabricated anyway. Even with real paintings, sometimes you don't get the whole paperwork or anything, which would be a valid point, but like we know that they're fake. So right now it's kind of like you're not really making any sense, right? So next chapter we get into is called The Art of the Con. And we meet this woman called Maria Konnikova. She's author of The Art of the Con. Wow, what promo. She says a good con artist gives you what you want. And she's speaking about Glafira Rosales. I feel like Glafira is really like demonized in this documentary.
Yeah, she definitely is. And I don't even think she's the brains behind all of this.
She's not, honestly. And it's like we didn't even get to hear from her. Like she didn't even get to like speak her truth, but okay. So now everyone's kind of looking at Anne Friedman like, are you dumb? Like, you're supposed to be this art connoisseur and you're selling all these fakes, right?
But this is why they're all fucking pretentious pricks, because a lot of them there lapped it
They all
up as
thought
well.
it was real. That's what I'm saying. You man all thought it was real, and then you found it was fake. And you're like, oh, I had suspicions from the beginning. There's that one guy
No,
who
you
really
didn't.
pisses me off. His name is like Jack someone, and he is like the bold one with the squeaky voice.
Oh god, yeah.
He's
yeah,
the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can just
yeah.
tell he's a catty gay.
Do
Like
you
you know
think?
yeah, I can just tell. You know those like
I feel like he.
the ones that give like they the ones that give like the gay people like that stereotype, like
Oh, stereotype.
catty and bitchy, and like I can just tell he's that kind of person.
Maybe, but I also thought that he was like married to a woman, and he felt emasculated by her, and so he comes to the art world and he feels like, yeah, I'm
Gave
the
him a
big
whole
Don Dada.
background.
Yeah, I'm the big Don Dada here. And then he goes home and like his wife, like, you know,
I don't know, but he's a bitch. Either way, he's a bitch.
either way, he's stop being a damn bitch.
Literally.
Yeah. So we meet this guy called Jason Hernandez. He's the former assistant U.S. attorney, and he says,
you know, Glafira is a small, pretty quiet person. She doesn't fit the profile of what you might think would be a international art criminal. But we know that her boyfriend has an art background.
we found out that Glafira Rosales has a boyfriend who is a dodgy guy. He's just a weird guy. Like, he's a really dodgy guy, and he's in the documentary, so we meet him. His name is Jose Carlos Bergantinos Diaz. And he's a baby daddy as well. I thought that was quite interesting. And he's weird. And basically, the FBI US attorney guy, Jason, thinks that he's behind the whole thing, which I also believe. I think that he's behind the whole thing. Glafira doesn't seem like, not that she's not capable. Of course she's capable. She can do whatever she likes. But he just seems like the kind of person to like throw the stone and hide his hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Glafira is the one who got blamed for the whole thing. So all this time, we haven't actually met Glafira. We just see loads, like the same 4 pictures and 1 video of her. So at this point, I'm assuming, okay, cool, she's in jail or she's gone to jail because why would you not see her, right? Yeah. Exactly. So the point of this documentary is to kind of try and get you, the viewer, to decide whether you think Anne was conned like the rest of the people or whether she knew she was selling fake paintings. And in her defense, her lawyer says that whenever she got a new painting in, she would get them authenticated by experts.
Yeah.
So in one particular case of this like Rothko painting, the National Gallery of Art told her it was real, and the conservator of Mark Rothko's estate made positive comments about the painting. And it's so funny that we know what conservator means now. Shout out to Brittany. But yeah, so same thing happened with lots of other paintings. Like experts were saying, yeah, they're real, and so then she would sell them, right?
Yeah, which is fair enough.
It's like, okay, cool, you're telling me it's real. I think it's real. I'm gonna sell it thinking that it's real. There's no fraud in that.
It's just like me buying a Hermes bag for from someone, and then I go to like a Hermes shop to get it evaluated, and they're like, oh yeah, like it's real. So somebody could sell me a bag and me be like, oh hey, like, is this authentic before I pay this shit?
Can you get it authenticated?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you're meant to buy them through
Hermes.
No, ideally, but you're meant to buy them through like people who
like second
source them,
like
basically.
Yeah.
But like if you want, you can buy brand new ones, but you can also source like used ones, especially if it's an exclusive one. So it's like me buying that and like coming and being like, okay, is this like real? Is this Birkin real? And then asking all the experts,
and then being like, hey, yeah, it's real.
Yeah,
and then
real.
Getting mad that I found out it was fake when I too believed it was real.
Everybody been told me that it was real, fam.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's the thing, and ultimately, yeah, with these collectors and these like rich people, yeah, it all comes down to just like the entitlement of it all, because like you didn't actually have to buy this thing, and you clearly thought it was real. It's only because you were told that it wasn't real that you're now upset. You believed it was real. You had it in your house. You had all your dinner parties and showed everybody that it was real and was bragging. Oh yeah, it's 8 million, whatever. And then now it turns out that it's not real. Now you feel like a dickhead.
You just hate that you got
truly, you feel like a dickhead that you got. And now you feel like it's a moral thing. Like, no, she just has to know. And no, your ego is bruised.
Yeah, literally.
Your ego is bruised and money couldn't fix it. And so now you feel like a dickhead. Bottom line. Next chapter is called The Collectors. Speaking of which, so we hear that art is a lot about exclusivity. Like what Friends was saying earlier, it's like being able to have something that nobody else has, and also being able to have the means to attain that thing. So it's not even just being aware like, oh, there's this rare Jackson Pollock. It's literally being like, all right, cool, there's this rare Jackson Pollock and I can afford to get it, and I'm in the circles with which I can get it. And so then you get it, and then it's like, oh, look at me, I'm such an amazing rich person.
I'm such a basic bitch. Like, I could be worth 60 million pounds. You would still see like writing
live, laugh, love.
Yeah, on my wall. I'm that kind of basic bitch. Like, I really don't like art. I call the art my parents have in the house. I'm just like, I don't like it.
Yeah, I didn't even really notice art like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really notice it. Everyone has their thing. Do you know what I mean? We said this in a previous episode. Like, everyone has their thing, their vice, what they're going to spend big money on. And for some people, it's art, and I just don't get it. I try to like think about this whole situation in a way that would like get me, that would make sense. And the only thing I could come up with is, you know, when you buy hair and they'll try and advertise it like it's raw hair, which is better quality, right? And then you get the hair, you wash it one time and it's shit hair.
Yeah.
And I'm like livid. Like, why did I spend?
But it's not even the same, because it's different than if you paid for a Rothko and then it came. No, but okay, but say
you pay for good hair, and then the hair you get is shit hair. You pay for like high grade raw.
But that's different, because that shit hair you're going to tell that it's shit. But that point you made about like they didn't even know. So it's like what you can.
Yeah, it's actually true.
What's the word I'm looking for? What you can.
Yeah.
Whatever it to is, you pay a lot of money equate it to, that's the word. You pay a lot of money for really good hair, and the hair is good. Like, it looks good, it feels good, it washes good. And then later on you find that, it wasn't raw hair. It was, like, premium too. But it was fine. Like, nothing was wrong with it.
Yeah, that's true. But then I think the thing with hair is that it will never, like, premium 2 will never be good hair.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, you would always know in it. But, yeah, that's the closest thing I could think of. But
the closest thing I could think of is literally the Birkin example.
Oh, yeah, it's
like
true, the Hermes. Yeah, that's
literally
true.
Buying a Birkin and thinking, oh, my gosh, like, yeah, I've got a Birkin.
It's true. That's actually really good comparison.
Spending Birkin money. And then
It's
like 2 years down the line,
true.
someone comes and is like, oh, sis, that is not a Birkin.
And this is what would piss you off, yeah. It'd be the case if you're posting it on your Insta and then someone's like,
Yeah,
"Sis, that's
and
fake." Then you
fake.
feel like a dickhead. Then it's not so much about the money that you spent on it. It's about the fact
Yeah.
that you've been flaunting this thing. Oh yeah, Hermes, Birkin,
Or it's
Kenny,
like those
Birkin,
poor
Kenny.
women that like they get fake like engagement rings, and they think it's real, and then they find out that like, yeah, the diamond isn't real.
I feel like that could very much be me, and I would not know. And then you'd be like to me, "Sis, sit down and let's have a chat."
No, but most women don't know that their diamond is fake. Like,
But how
it's
do you know
not
that your
easy
diamond is real?
So like you can do like a breath test in terms of like they're not meant to conduct heat. So like if you breathe on it, it shouldn't cloud over. Something about like the light. So
The way it catches
it,
the light and stuff.
yeah. But in all honesty, like even some trained like diamond people cannot tell that a diamond is fake.
Not diamond
Like
people.
literally, they can't
Does this
tell.
include lab grown diamonds? Are they fake?
Lab grown diamonds are fake in the sense that like they're not from the
From the
ground, but they
earth.
have the same
Qualities.
qualities. And what's the word I'm looking for?
They're more ethical.
They're ethical, but they have the same chemical like makeup. It's just
Oh,
that you grow them
composition.
in it. So
A
they're
lab.
literally equally as expensive. To be fair, like
Yeah.
they're literally very similar price, but. Yeah, but like I'm talking more like cubic. Well, to be honest, you'd know if you're wearing a cubic zirconia. To be fair, but yeah,
I wouldn't know, boy. You'd have to tell me.
you would
sis.
know. You would know. Come
Oh,
on,
you
would
have so
know.
much faith in me.
No, because it looks cubic zirconias look more ridiculous the bigger they are. So if you actually have like a stone, that's like you would know. Come on, you'd know.
Yeah, I know when it falls out the thing.
And your fingers all green, like come on.
Yeah, fair. Okay, cue the Soles. This is that couple. What do you think about this couple?
I was with them at the beginning because they just seemed like people that came to talk about their experience. But by the end, I fucking couldn't
That
stand
woman.
them.
That woman.
Yeah, she's psychotic.
She's actually white. She's crazy.
Yeah, I think they are very pretentious, but that's the way I feel like with all of these people.
All of them, yeah.
I just feel like I feel like even if you grew up like in high society and you're super rich and stuff like that, you cannot tell me, especially in this day and age, like this is the stuff that like holds. I just refuse to buy it. Like it's so far removed from like the world. I don't believe people like operate this above like what is really going on in the world. I'm not saying that you can't appreciate and like art and go to galleries and stuff like that, but to be this far removed from everyday like society that like
I believe
this
it,
is
you
what
know.
rattles you, I find it shocking.
It's shocking,
I just,
but I believe it. Like these are the kind of people that the closest interactions they have with like normal people is their drivers or the bellboy,
guess.
or
Or
like,
their
they
PA.
wouldn't even meet people like you and I. Where would they
Yeah.
come across? These people aren't getting their eyes tested where I would work. Do you know what I mean? They're not in. They would never. They only see like workers. Like
Yeah.
these are literally their problems. Like these are literally the extent of, not that they
I
don't
guess.
have problems, but like these are the things that they will go to court for.
yeah, I guess.
Like Black
They
Lives
just-
Matter is not a thing to them.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like they were nice people. I can imagine
Yeah, I
that
didn't like
woman
them at
beating
all.
her PA with a cane.
Yeah,
And I can
and then
imagine that guy
crying, saying, "Oh,
yeah.
you beat me."
And I can imagine that guy like having loads of affairs with young girls and gaslighting them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't feeling them.
So we hear Dominic De Sole explaining how he met Anne Friedman through a friend. He's there with his wife, who is called Eleanor. They're art collectors. Cool. Long story short, they buy fakes from Anne Friedman. And the talking heads are discussing how these seemingly sophisticated people could be duped in this way. And I've put here, it's not like it's me and you buying art. Do you know what I mean? These are
Yeah.
supposed to be seasoned art collectors. And it's like, you ignore the flaws because you love the art so much. And we even hear Domenico De Sole saying that he's not an expert and his advisor thought it was real. And it's like, okay, so again, you yourself cannot even tell if these things are real or fake. So how much of a collector are you? Like, what are you really buying this
That
for?
is what
Like,
I'm
it's for other
that's
people.
why I'm saying everyone on all the talking heads were fucking pretentious because, for example, I like certain things. I like bags. Okay, so if I'm gonna collect bags, then I'm gonna like know what the
No.
hell I'm collecting, kind of thing. Like I'm not just gonna wake up one day, like I'm not really into shoes, so I'm not gonna wake up one day and like be like, oh my gosh, let me buy Jimmy Choo, let me buy this, let me buy that, let me that, just to show that I have it. Like I'm not gonna do that, which is what it comes across that these lot were doing. Like
Exactly, like it's all image.
I am
but, like,
happy
hella
wearing
image.
Literally, I'm happy wearing misguided shoes or public desire, but I will carry a good bag. Like, that's my thing.
Literally,
so
everyone
I'll
has their
pay
thing.
for that.
So if I now see you with fake YSL bag, I'm gonna be like, sis,
what is going on?
Do you not know that?
I'm comfortably going to carry a YSL bag and wear it with my misguided shoes, and I'm not, like, nobody can come and say shit to me. So I'm not going to wake up one day and be like, oh, let me buy a whole thing of lubes and YSL shoes so that people can, like, that's why it's bullshit. You're saying that you're a collector of art, but you don't know, like, the art. Then what the fuck are you a collector of?
Exactly. And then it's like you're actually just in that case, you're actually just a collector of art, not of, like, fine art or whatever it is that you want to call it. Like,
so
you actually liked the painting
literally
enough. You dropped $8 million on it, and now
if
you're
you
upset.
know that you're not really into, like, the whatever art, just collect all these writing on the wall scripture things. Live life, love, carpe diem.
Live, love, life. Yeah. I've just put, you must feel like a dickhead. You must feel like a dickhead. That's all. I mean, that's all this is really about ego. Like, this is ultimately this is about ego. That's it. Bottom line. Next chapter, we learn about the forger, who is my personal hero, I think, of this documentary. He's really good at what he does, very gifted. His name is Pei Shen Quinn, and he is a master forger responsible for all the fakes. He's also a math professor, so this guy is multi-talented. God really blessed him.
What we know about Pei Shen is that when he lived in China, he was an accomplished painter. And then he came to the States, and he couldn't make it in the art world in the way he did in China.
And he meets Glafira Rosales and her boyfriend, and he's their painter. They even age the paintings to make them look good. Sometimes they even will remove the paintings from old canvases because they know that the painting needs to be from an older time, and then they would, like, paint on top of it. So we get on-screen text saying, over the next 10 years, paintings from Glafira Rosales were sold by Nola Gallery to collectors, museums, and galleries around the world. Around the world. So this just to let you know
multiple
that, like,
people had opportunities.
Thank you.
To be like,
this is a bit dodgy. And now it's only afterwards everyone wants to be like, yeah, I did think it was a bit. No, you didn't. No, you didn't think anything.
No, you didn't.
You didn't think anything.
Shut up.
Fam. We see the names and, like, the prices on screen, like, scrolling up, and there's just so many paintings. Over 60 fake paintings were sold for about $80 million.
That is
not
crazy.
wild?
Do you know what 80 million could do for 80 million? Do you know what 80 million could do for, like, people's lives? I'm not even gonna say me, because I am not, like, living in, like, poverty, or I'm not broke. But, like, if you think about the amount of people suffering and struggling in the world, and this is not to say that if you're rich, you have to heal the world and you don't have a right to spend your money on how you want it. Like, if I'm rich, best believe I'm about to buy some hella unnecessary shit. But at the same time, to sit here and be like, okay, these people come together and they spend, like, 80 million on, like, paintings. It's crazy to me.
And then to add that it's a fake painting, it's like, my nigga.
Yeah. It's like, I sold you this piece of paper. You got
literally, and you wrote it. It's like that. It wasn't a painting. It was the banana. You know, was it Banksy? I don't remember what it was, and it was like a banana in a frame, and it sold for, like, a crazy amount of money. This was recently, maybe like a few years ago, and then I think it, like, exploded. Something happened. Oh no! Oh, I'm confusing two different things. One, there was a banana in, like, a cage that sold for a crazy amount of money. The other one, it was like a painting, right? And it sold for so much, and then after it sold, it got shredded. It was like in the mechanism of the painting. Nah, guys, if you remember this,
I don't understand. It was in a mechanism. I don't understand.
So the painting was in, like, basically the painting was a painting, right? And then it got sold. And as soon as it got sold, it's like it was like programmed that it would shred. So the painting got sold and then it shredded, like, all within the painting. So the painting was destroyed. Nah, let me Google it, because you're looking at me sideways. Hold on.
I'm just confusion.
Okay, yeah. That's it. Shredded painting at Sotheby's. Yeah, it was Banksy. Yeah, the painting self-destructs. Okay, I'm going to send it to you and then you can watch it. I knew this was in my mind somewhere. Hold on.
I just feel like I should just start doing art. I think I'm going to make, like, a Finsta where I just do art, and then, like, let's see if it sells and take it from there.
But this is the thing. Think about it. All these
I know
things,
I'm not white.
Yeah, but they won't know that because it's a Finsta. All these things were pre-social media times, because art right now, like, artists aren't really winning like that, because if you post your painting on Instagram, like, what am I going to do? Just screenshot it now as my wallpaper? Do you know what I mean? It's not quite the
but
same.
like I'm trying to get into I'm not ain't niggas like you that's gonna
Oh, is it?
give you that
Okay.
millions. I'm trying to get to these people that pay 60 million things for a line on paper. That's what the people I'm trying to reach.
That's
So
your
I'm
target
really
audience.
wondering, how can I break this? Because like I said to you, I do not believe, at least with Banksy, you can see the talent, you can see the political expression. Like, I do not believe flipping Pollock with his 2 squares. Really, he was high on PCP, and he picked up a paintbrush, which was closest to him, and he was like, what can I paint? Like, the other one who had splatters on his page, who was that one? Rothwell. Whatever. Not Rothwell. Rothko. Rothko had just smoked a blunt laced with angel dust, and he was like, shit.
And he fell.
Literally, he was like, shit. And then he did some splatters on the paint, and he was like, shit, I really did something. And then he sold that shit. So I'm trying to really did something and sell that shit to some of these people that pay. I promise you, if I just did a line on the piece of paper, someone is going to be like, oh, this is art, the expression, the thought, the process, the Black Lives Matter. I need this on my wall. Those are the people I'm trying to reach.
The
not you people that screenshot
between
shit.
life and death, the front and back, yin and yang. It's all contained within the paranoia.
And I just smoked a blunt. That was it.
That was that.
That was that.
Yeah. Next chapter, too good to be true. And if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So we learn about another rich guy. Hello, rich guys here. Yep. He buys a Jackson Pollock for $2 million, but he's smart enough to write a clause to state that he will get his money back if it's proven to be a fake after authentication. Now, this is a collector, right? This is somebody who collects. This is somebody who collects because it's like, okay, cool, I'm collecting art, and I know that, you know, fakes are a thing, so let me just protect myself. Yeah. So Anne's like, yeah, cool, that's fine. Turns out to be fake. He gets his money back. Easy peasy. So at this point, I'm kind of thinking, do you know what? Maybe Anne didn't actually know that the paintings were fake because she honors the agreement. She gives him a refund. But then she puts it back on sale. Not for $2 million, but for $11 million.
But she makes a good point because let's use the Birkin analogy again. I buy a Birkin for £5,000, okay?
Oh, you're lucky.
And then
what sale were you at, sis?
Literally, okay, let's do 10,000. I buy Birkin for 10,000. I'm walking around sitting pretty happy with this Birkin. But before I decide to carry the Birkin, I go and get it authenticated. Someone looks at the stitching and says, this is really, really good. But I'm not quite sure about this right here. The way this flap is stitched, it's giving me fake vibes. I'm not 100% sure. I go and return it to the lady and I say, I want my money back. Give me my 10 G's. I'm not 100% sure this is real and I'm not trying to, you know, because that's what they said. We have to be honest that the IFAR didn't say, oh, it's absolutely fake. They just said that they're not sure. Exactly. And then she's like, okay, cool. They're not sure, but I've spoken to my people and I'm sure. And the other people I've taken this to are sure. And then she's going to resell this bag and she looks around and these bags are now selling for 20k. Why would she put hers for 10?
Yes,
she's
true.
Like,
now
okay,
it looks fake.
Literally, God has blessed me with giving me this thing. I'm finna make even more money. I'm selling it for 20. And that's how the cookie crumbles. So I didn't see that as, oh my gosh, she's being deceptive. I saw it more as, okay, she was moving with the times. At that time when she was about to start, listen, there's inflation. It was now selling for 11k. Why is 11 million? Why should she put it back at 2 million?
No, it's true. Buy it then? I think ultimately she believes these things are real, right?
Yeah, and I think, that's how I feel.
I honestly think that she thought that these things were real. I think that even if she had any kind of doubt, I think her involvement with, or like she was in so deep that even if she had any inkling that this thing was fake,
she wouldn't have admitted it to herself.
Yeah, she wouldn't have admitted it to herself, in which case she wouldn't have believed it, in which case she can then like honestly say, yeah, no, I believe it's real, because she has forced herself to believe that it's real.
Yeah, and also there's just way too much at stake, which we learn later on.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in a shitty relationship, like, yeah, okay, deep down you might have some doubts, but you stick it out most times
because you've already dedicated 3 years of your life now.
Literally, and like, where are you coming out to go? And that's just the way it was in this situation. That's what I believe anyways.
I think so too. I think this documentary does a really good job of, you listen to this person, you think, you listen to Anne, you think, you listen to this person, you think, you listen to Anne, you think, I did. There's some times where I look at her and I'm just like, we then have to admit that you're just stupid then. Do you know what I mean?
And I don't
but then
think
also, I don't think she is. I actually don't think
I
she's
don't think she's stupid
I
because
think
she didn't
that-
just take it and hang it in her office or
exactly.
in her...
And I do honestly think that, like, when you look at this story as it's played out, it's easy to look back and think, okay, this dumb bitch, right?
Exactly.
But if you
when
go
you're in that
over
moment...
10, 13, 15, 20 years, bit by bit, story by story, you kind of think, okay, cool.
It makes
Do you know
sense.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit plausible, maybe a bit weird, maybe I'm lucky, maybe whatever. But yeah, so Anne actually confronts Glafira about the fake painting, right? The one that, the 2 million, 11 million one. And so remember Mr. X, right? Okay. So Mr. X was the guy, he had a wife, he had Mr. X Jr., his son, he didn't care about money. Yeah. Okay. So now the story has changed.
Story number 2 changed. Now Mr. X was gay, and he had come to New York and begun buying works through a guy named David Herbert, who was gay. Mr. X had been drawn into this whole demi-monde of gay art lovers and dealers and collectors. However, he had a wife and children back in Switzerland. So he couldn't take these works back with him. It would have been opening up his gay life to his family.
So now he's gay, and he has a wife back in Switzerland. And if he takes the paintings back home, then his wife is going to know that he's gay. Because, like, where did you get all these gay paintings? Like, what the fuck?
Paintings
so
have
he sells them.
sexualities.
Literally, I'm like, what has you collecting paintings got to do with your sexuality? Like, what has one got to do with the other? I'm sorry, did I miss that in school? Like, what? Lorenza's shaking her head. It's very wild. I don't really get it. But yeah, that's the news story that we get. So at this point, after this Mr. X, the second iteration of the story, do you think that Anne is suspicious of Glafira or no?
Yeah, I do. I think she has her suspicions, and I think, again, it's just back to that thing of when you're in too deep.
She can't admit her suspicions because then it's like, it opens the doorway to, well, you should have done this, this and this.
Exactly. So I feel like she has her suspicions. She does her, she wants to, I think even when she goes to confront Glafira, it's not like, oh, I'm confronting you because I think, like, I want you to tell me that they're fake. It's more like, I just want further reassurance, because then Glafira comes up with this whole other provenance.
It's true,
so,
yeah. It's like, hey, this is kind of weird. It's probably nothing, but
yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So we hear about this Robert Motherwell painting called The Elegy that everyone keeps talking about. It's very ugly. Do you remember that one? It's like black on white, like black
it looks
smudges.
like some sort of insect.
Yeah, like a devil. So
horrible.
she gets this Elegy painting from Glafira. And then there's this art expert called Jack Flam or whatever. He's the one that I think is emasculated by his wife and Forenz thinks is gay and mean. The two are not related. He just happens to be gay and mean. So Jack tells her that it's fake, right? And so they're kind of like expecting her to be like, oh my God, thanks so much. Imagine if I'd sold that. Like, oh my God, that's crazy. But she's kind of like arguing with them like, nah, I mean, it's not fake, right?
Yeah.
Which I kind of understood, because it's like, if you truly believe that this is real, like you, let's use your analogy. I get my Hermes Kelly bag, right? And I'm happy that I have this Hermes Kelly bag. And I'm like, do you know what? This Hermes Kelly bag is lit. It's mine. I love it. And then Forenz comes to me and it's like, just a heads up, like, that bag that you have is fake. And I'm like, are you mad? Of course it's not fake.
Yeah.
After I bought it and I seen it and I've bought from this buyer before and it was fine.
Exactly. You didn't just buy it off the street.
Like, it's been 9 years I've been dealing with the same person. They've been giving me Hermes bags for time. Do you know what I mean? I have a Kelly from them. I have a Birkin from them. I have an Evelyn from them. And you want to come tell me?
Yeah, me. Yeah.
So I kind of get where she's coming from at that point. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay. So we get this back and forth between them. It's kind of funny. You can tell they hate each other.
He forgot to mention that he initially thought the works were right.
Also, I should say that in 2006, I'd actually seen one of these elegies. It was on the floor in her office.
I think he made it up, that he quickly looked at this quote-unquote Motherwell on the floor.
It looked kind of like, it looked like an elegy.
I didn't show paintings on the floor. I put them on an easel. That was my way.
So they looked enough like a Motherwell that you see it on the floor casually. You're not asked to give an opinion.
I've never known Jack to look at something quickly. He feels that his opinion and his judgment matters, and he would look at a work in a way of considering how good it is.
I didn't even say, sure, it looked fine. I just didn't say, wow, that looks like a fake.
Anne's like, okay, like, cool, you thought they were real. So now you're coming to say that you don't think they're real. But you yourself thought they were real initially, yeah? And then he's like, oh, yeah, but they were on the floor. I just had a quick glance. And Anne's like, trying to shit because I never keep them on the floor. Like, keep all my paintings on easel.
Which I believe.
Same. And she seems like a very put-together woman as well.
Yeah, and also, like, who would put, like, a painting worth how many million on the floor? Are you crazy?
Exactly. And then you see the painting on the floor worth however many million, and you still, you don't instantly think, oh, this is weird, why would you keep it on the floor?
Me that I just have YSL bag, not even painting. Would I put it on the floor? What more, a Rothko?
A Rothko? Motherwell. It's so stupid. I literally believe Anne. Honestly, I believe Anne here.
I believe Anne.
Ultimately, the painting is proven to be fake. And what does Jack do? What does this bitch motherfucker do? He goes to the FBI.
He says, hi, this is Jack Schneider. It's not Jack Schneider, but it's the same energy.
It's the same energy. It's like, sorry,
people
but just... Are the FBI? Have people not been kidnapped? I don't understand. Like, are they not terrorist threats? Because why are they spending so much time and resources on paintings?
Literally. Imagine, like, you finish FBI school, you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to be like
not
James
FBI
Bond,
school.
shooting, bad guys, jumping through ceilings, and they call you about painting fraud. I would resign on the spot.
I say, respect me. Put some respect on my name.
Literally, disrespectfully, I resign.
Yeah, honestly. It's actually crazy. And it's like, there's this bit where, like, Anne is angry because it's like, how can you just go to the FBI like that? Like, will you come to me and chat to me? And she was like, how he did come to her, but it wasn't like just me and you chatting. It was kind of you just like trying to sun me in front of other people, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really bad, mine. It's like, I'm sorry, like, the FBI is such a drastic step.
And it's like, it's just like when we talk about, like, I hate colleagues that, like, if something goes wrong, they go and they chat to your boss. And it's like, what the fuck? We've worked together. You know that I'm not this way inclined. If you've got an issue, just message me on Slack. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Run into my boss like a little bitch. And that's literally it. But these people took it times 10 because you went to the FBI. You didn't even go to your local precinct. You called the FBI. I wonder what he did that day he was gearing up to call the FBI. Oh my gosh.
It's so what I just think to myself, like, you didn't have to do that. Like, you didn't, of all the things that you could
you
have
didn't
done.
even go to her boss. Like,
yeah, but he's corrupt too. But still, he didn't even do that. And the thing is, you two are cool. You're cool enough. Like, it's not like you don't know her. It's like you didn't meet her anywhere. Like, you know her. You and her are cool. Well, you were. Not anymore. They hate each other, and you can tell. So the investigation begins, and they're targeting Glafira Rosales because they can prove that she's involved, really. Meanwhile, Anne gets fired from the node. Well, she doesn't get fired.
It's a weird, like,
she gets a leave of
events
absence, basically, yeah. And basically, we haven't gotten into this guy, but we need to, solely because of his hairline. The owner of the Nodler Gallery is this guy called Michael Hammer.
Hairline? He was hella tanned.
His tan is rude.
Leathery orange.
Very rude. Very rude. But the hairline was it was wild. It was like,
I can't remember his hairline. I just remember seeing, like, this leather orange
white
tan
hair
and then
orange
white
skin.
tea.
Yeah, and white teeth. Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it was wild. And they were like, oh yeah, just tell people that your cancer came back and that's why you've left. And I'm like, the blood of Jesus. This is the cancer that the Lord removed from me. You want me to now proclaim with my mouth that it's back?
Cancer.
In it.
I'd have been like your mum.
I was like, your mum? Yeah, talk to your mum about cancer.
That's why I don't move in these circles, because I would have said your actual mum.
Your actual mother. Next chapter, The Fall, 2011. So this is a pretty quick chapter. We basically hear about another collector, another rich man with too much money. Pierre Lagrange.
Don't just gloss over it, because I had to pause and do my research. Pierre Lagrange, okay, is a hedge fund guy.
All right, okay, you know what these things mean.
Married to, you don't know what the hedge fund? They're these finance.
I mean, I've heard of it, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
They're rich. All we need to know is they're finance rich people, right?
Yeah.
He was married to this woman he'd been with for ages, had kids, and then he divorces her and marries this guy.
To marry a man. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the headline, didn't it? He married a designer, right?
I went and Googled, and the guy's like a black guy, which I was like, yay, him. Like, I love to see a black guy lapping up the luxury. But also, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know. Maybe the wife knew that he was bi or something. Mm-hmm. But, like, say you actually didn't know that your husband was bi or gay, because he could have just been a closeted gay man. Like, imagine waking up one day, this man that you've made love to, he's touched you as a man. Like, he's touched you as a heterosexual man, whatever. And he wakes up one day, he's like, yeah, sis, I'm leaving you, like, for a guy. It's not that there's anything with two men being together. It's just the shock of the fact that I did not know you were that way inclined. So, like, were we living a lie?
This is the thing. I think that there's a couple of things. If he's bi, then it's like, all right, cool. I feel a bit better because I'm like, all right, at least you were attracted to me for the time that we were together. Do you know what I mean? If you were gay,
just
then
cheated,
it's like,
basically.
Wow, like, but I mean, to be honest, even if he were gay, then it's kind of like, okay, well, I guess it's actually not personal because I'm a woman and that's not my fault. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it's also the shock to the system of not knowing that, like,
so like all that time
like,
you just
how
weren't
shit
even
is my
enjoying.
gaydar? Literally,
Yeah, you just weren't even enjoying me at all.
And then you start thinking all the times he told you he was with his friends and you dismissed it. Was he like, with his lover?
Cheating, yeah. Because
but I mean, it could be that way if it was a girl.
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing. It's sort of the betrayal of it. Like, whoever he left you for, like, he left you and he had been with that person. So it's kind of like, wow, I really feel like you betrayed me and my trust.
Yeah.
That's a bit rude.
I mean, yeah, literally, it's just like Derek Jackson, but
but I'm happy for our brother. I'm glad for him. Go on with a rich man. So Pierre Lagrange, he sues the gallery because they sold him a fake. And the way they proved it was actually quite funny. So basically, there was like a yellow paint used, and this paint was produced in the 1970s. And the painter of the painting, Jackson Pollock, died in 1956. So surely it could not be by him because the paint used in this painting had not yet been made when he had died.
I mean, this is a rookie mistake. Patient and Piesh and what? Patient and the other guy.
And Jose Carlos Bergantino Diaz.
Come on, you guys could have done better than this.
Fix up. Yeah, they're getting
almost
complacent.
got away with it if it wasn't for the meddling paint.
Them pesky yellow paint. So Michael Hammer closes the gallery. The news hits the press, and now Anne's like doubling down, saying that they're real. Because at this point, what can she do? Do you know what I mean? She kind of has to keep on with the story.
But she did say to Pierre, she was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to give you the money back, but I'll take it and I'll sell it to someone else. Which then I was like, Anne, you're kind of digging yourself in a hole. Because he was like, so for me to be rid of this fake piece of shit, somebody else has to buy a fake piece of shit.
Another collector has to buy it, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a bit...
That was kind of... And then she was kind of like trying to paraphrase it, basically saying like, no, I didn't say those words exactly. I said that, I could... And it's like, it doesn't matter what you said, like the tone of the message, the message of the message was the same.
Yeah.
So that was a bit dodgy, yeah. So it's 2013, Glafira Rosales is arrested. And guess how they prove she's guilty? Taxes. When I say these Americans, one thing that they will get you on is taxes.
They're going to get you on them taxes?
Is that not how they got, what's it? Clem, what's her name? Dr. Cleggett. Isn't that how they got Dr. Cleggett in the pharmacy?
Yeah.
Taxes. They will get you on taxes. Like, if you're doing crimes, pay your taxes. Then they will leave you alone.
I feel like even, how, like, your tax doesn't come out of your salary. Like, you have to pay your taxes. Like, for us, it just comes directly out. I don't know why they do it, but I feel like I have a theory that they do that to catch people out. Because if you know taxes are so important to you, just fucking take them out of the people's salaries.
True. Why would you not
I feel like they do it on purpose because they know people are not going to pay their taxes properly.
Is that in their constitution that people don't have to...
Because that IRS. Yeah, IRS. No, it's IRS. Them people are gonna. If there's one thing those people do is they catch you.
If you're doing crime, please, in that America, just pay your taxes. Just pay your taxes.
Pay your taxes.
And they probably will leave you alone.
Yeah.
Because your taxes benefit them.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So they found out she's not paying her taxes. They leveraged that in order to get her to confess. So she confesses. She tells them about Pei Shen Quinn, and he's indicted, but he flees to China where he cannot be extradited.
Which is why it's good to have dual passports.
Honestly, it's good. It really is. Obviously, don't do crime.
But Nigeria's passport's not going to do jack shit. Nigeria will extradite you even before the government asks.
Do you think?
Man, they're begging. What? Am I trying to what?
I was going to say, are you in the process of trying to get your Nigerian passport?
I've got
because
one.
Whenever I'm trying to get my Nigerian passport, like renew it, I hate Nigeria so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, keep your fucking passport. Keep it.
Yeah, I need to renew.
Hold tight.
They will extradite with a quickness.
Damn, I need to get another one.
In fact, they'll even call the government. But she just came in. If you want to come and pick up, come.
If you like, pay us some. We'll send you her. So Anne finally accepts that the paintings are fake. Obviously, when Glafira, says they're fake. So we get on-screen text telling us that 10 lawsuits were filed against Anne Friedman and the Nodler Gallery. 9 were settled out of court. 1 went to trial. Guess which one went to trial? Dominique de Soleil.
Oh, Soleil, yeah.
So now it's the trial in 2016. He sues the gallery, he sues Anne, and he sues Michael Hammer. This guy's ego is so hurt. I'm like, money, like, it's...
He must have a really tiny dick.
I was just thinking that. I feel
so sorry for his wife. He must have a tiny
I don't feel
dick.
sorry for her. She deserves the smallest of dicks. She is a dick, bro.
Sausage. Every time I say cocktail sausage, it just reminds me of, you know, Belinda Blinked, that American guy, Jim Sterling.
Blinked. Oh, yes.
And he had like a tiny, like she had to look for it through the bush of like, yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh my gosh, it's coming back in May. It's almost time.
Yeah, but it's still like, we literally had this discussion like maybe a month ago and it's still not May.
I know.
It's taken ages. They're rude. So let's get into Eleanor for a second, because she literally is, she is the brand of white women that I really don't like. There's a particular
She's like
brand
the
of white
final
women.
Karen you have to fight after you fought all of them, all the anti-maskers, all the crying on the stage, all the Sharon Osbournes. Then you meet her, Eleanor. She's the final one you have to defeat.
She is.
She's kind of slap you, call you a nigger, and cry.
Yeah, and then the police will come and arrest you and possibly kill you. Literally, and because she has money as well, it makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
Because with that money comes power, and the entitlement is so much worse than a normal Karen. But okay, let's get into her.
Eleanor got very emotional on the stand, talking about the sense of betrayal that they felt from somebody that they thought they could trust.
She testified that she was angry, heartbroken, sad.
I'm a very emotional person. I cry in happy situations and sad situations. But this was opening the wounds. And hopefully the jury recognized that I was sincere.
I think it was an act, but it was a good act. It's not like Anne Friedman was this close friend. They went to Knoedler one time.
I had raw emotions, and I was going to expose them because they were real.
She's trying to do the most because she feels like the jury will find Anne guilty, right? She's trying to make out like it was a huge betrayal, you know, and it's like, we were friends and you really hurt me. And she's saying, you know, I'm a really emotional person and, you know, I feel, and I just wanted to make sure that the jury saw that. And it's like, no, you got played, you didn't do your research, you didn't authenticate your painting, you found out it was fake, and you feel like a dickhead. And now you want somebody to pay as a revenge plot because you were dumb. Basically.
And you weren't mates with her. You met her once, fam.
You met her one time. That's not your friend. It wasn't a
literally.
It wasn't a betrayal, especially because she most likely didn't even know that it was fake at the time.
Exactly.
So instead of you to be angry at yourself and your husband for not doing your research, you're angry at the person who sold you something that they didn't know was fake.
Yeah.
And you also didn't know it was fake.
And I don't know why they're so hellbent convinced that like she knew it was fake.
Because then it makes them feel better.
Yeah.
As if something was done to them rather than them doing something to themselves, which they did.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to be this collector. She didn't know it was fake. You didn't know it was fake. You're both in the same boat. You should be angry at each other then.
Yeah.
So annoying. So Knoedler sells fakes for a total of $70 million. Their profit is $33 million. And Anne Friedman's commission in all that time is $10 million, which is crazy.
Juicy.
Yeah, keep it juicy.
But even at that, when you think of $80 million for all these fakes, I feel like if Anne really knew that they were fake, she would have cut herself a better deal than 10 million.
Yeah, I don't think she knew. I think maybe she suspected at some point, but by that point it was too late.
Yeah, she was too far deep. Yeah, she's too far gone.
Yeah. So one of the talking heads, a few of the talking heads actually are suggesting that the owner, Michael Hammer, that he was in on the fakes because he was quite frivolous with the company money. Like, he bought a Mercedes that was $500,000 and he took his wife to, like, Paris and stuff, all with, like, company funds, right? And we meet his lawyer. His lawyer's, like, defending him. And the only reason I even mention his lawyer is because of this toupee that he had on. Did you clock this toupee?
I clocked it. It was such a different colour from the rest of it. I was like, bro.
It was so bad. And the thing is, it's like, I'm here for men wearing hair pieces. Like, I believe that if you're going bald and hair is going to make you look better, then by all means, get your hair done.
Do what you got to do.
However, let's not be stupid. Let's not look silly on national television. Like, let it be a good one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a lawyer. You have lawyer money. Like,
yeah, and you lawyer for rich people as well. So I know you have money.
There is no excuse. See, but money, but no access, I guess, because the people who'd be doing his hair really well, he probably doesn't even know exist in this earth.
Yeah.
He's doing shit toupees. But okay, that's the only reason I brought that up. We don't really need to get into that too much. So the documentary is drawing to a close now. We learn that the trial is halted before Anne can take the stand and the Desoleils settle. And Anne's kind of like, well, I thought it was funny that they wanted to settle before I could take the stand, because she feels her testimony could have probably swayed the jury in her favour. I don't know about all that. Maybe, though, because the jury is like normal people. And I can't imagine a group of 12 normal people having sympathy for these people who have more money than all you guys will ever earn combined times 5,000.
Exactly.
So maybe Anne would have been acquitted. I mean, she doesn't serve any jail time, so, it's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, in the end, only Glafira goes to jail. And she's only there for a few months because they let her off on time served. The actual artist, Pei Shen Quinn, is in China. He doesn't get any jail time. The directors actually go to look for him. Don't know why. They find his wife, but she's like, he doesn't want to be interviewed. So that was really weird bit at the end. But yeah. Anne Friedman starts her own gallery called Friedman Arts. And what's his name? Jose Carlos Bergantinos Diaz gets arrested in Spain, but Spain doesn't extradite him to the US. So he gets away with it. Doesn't have any jail time. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Glafira is working at a diner as a waitress.
And that is how you sell fake art.
That is, yeah.
Overall, I do not believe Anne knew. That's my final stance.
That's how I ended,
I think she at some point suspected. I wouldn't even say became aware. I think she suspected, but she was too far gone in the process. She had too much at stake, and she was just like, nah. Like, I think it was a thing where she suspected they were fakes, but she said to herself, I'm not even going to entertain this thought because there's too much at stake here.
Yeah.
And she ran with like, oh, they're real. And that's why it happened.
I agree. I have nothing to add. I agree.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy the documentary. I thought it was really interesting. Again, it was quite frustrating just because of like the wastage of money and things. And I guess with art, like, I just don't get it. Like, this could have been a documentary about like fake Hermes bags, and maybe then I would have been a bit more interested. But
I'd have been awake.
Yeah, no, but I did enjoy the documentary. All right, boys, girls, and everyone in between. That is it, and that is all. Thank you so much for rocking with us this year. And follow us on socials, because we'll be on there, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. And we'll see you next year. Have an amazing Christmas and an amazing New Year.